Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Maruti Suzuki Dzire Tour S CNG and this car belongs to Mayank. So this is actually a cab. I am reviewing a taxi. Faisal Khan, you have come a long way. Anyways, let's open the engine bay, which I have not practiced for. And there it is. The Suzuki engine, little bit of vibrations you can see. In spite of the fact that it's a 4-cylinder engine, there's insulation there of course and there's so much space in the engine bay. Anyways, let's just shut this. Now let me tell you about what is mandatory on a taxi, and Maruti will actually make all the changes and give you, like obviously you will have a yellow number plate and you can drive it on your regular driving license as well. This plastic thing, I don't know when it came, this black thingy, tourist vehicle written here. Okay, this reflector from 3M is very important, both at the front as well as the side as well as the rear. So white at the front, yellow at the side, I think red at the rear. All halogen lights here, of course. Provision for a fog light, but there is none. And there's a bumper protector which has been actually added on this car. Now the length of this car is under 4 meters, which is 3995 mm. And this is based on the last generation Swift Dzire. But the Swift name has gone, so it's just Dzire now. Wheel caps have been added aftermarket. 165/80/14 is the size of the tires, so chin to width, but very high profile, crazy. Name of the owner, there's the indicator here. Says tourist vehicle right there. That yellow stickering is mandatory, a reflector that is. Chrome has been added on the door handles. This rain visor has been added as well. Says Swift here and Dzire there, but Swift is gone now. I don't know why it's written there. You have to have the number plate of the car on the side as well, on both the sides that is. And I've actually kept the boot open because I have to use the key and the key is inside, turned on the vehicle. There is absolutely no boot space on offer because of the CNG tank which is placed right here. Now this one can accommodate 55 liters worth of water. So it takes around 8.5 kgs of CNG depending on the pressure, around 7.5 to 8.5. And there is jack. Okay, spare wheel is placed here, again that Chintu Mintu spare wheel. So CNG has to be filled from right there. There's a high mounted stop lamp as well, CNG stickering right there. Says Tour S. You see this red color stickering and T logo. Rear parking sensors are standard. This bumper protector has been added aftermarket, of course. All halogen lights. This is where CNG goes, and there is this instruction from Maruti about how to fill your CNG. No, I'm just kidding. It's just telling you information about the cylinder and all that, chassis number and blah blah blah. Anyways, wheel caps look quite decent, I would say. At least it makes the car stand out from regular cabs, that is. And this car is in exceptional condition. Now the thing is, there's no focus from Maruti Suzuki on the passenger. That's the reason you don't get power windows at the rear. This is actually based on the LXI, and center passenger obviously does not get a head. No adjustable headrest, speaker placement there, but no audio system in this car. You get this what do I call it, garden type mats, and you can see ambient light is on at the moment. I thought that's a fire extinguisher, and it pretty much is, because with CNG you need that. Okay, this is the SOS button in case something is happening and you just want to alert everyone around you, press this button. So yeah, that's a mandatory feature, handle to hold on to. Seats are decent, they're not very comfortable. Actually, underthigh support is poor, legroom is poor, kneeroom is poor. This car doesn't deserve to be a taxi, honestly. I don't know why people use it as a taxi. Everything is actually poor. You see, there's not much space here for me. And the other problem is there is no center armrest either, no adjustable headrest, which I already mentioned, but this is a big bummer, and then obviously not really safe either. This car makes a lot of noise because the ride is very bad. It's always moving around because the suspension is not properly calibrated, and there are these rattles which keep coming all the time. And because this is a CNG, I have to actually keep my bag here. Yes, there's no space in the boot because of the cylinder taking all the space, so it just beats the point of having a sedan. The Wagoner is just better in that regard because the Wagoner is actually kind of worse also. It doesn't have like a good ride quality. Obviously it rattles even more, and it's also very noisy. This is super duper noisy. It's not a comfortable cab at all. I don't even know why this is being used as a cab. I mean, it's completely pointless. The Hyundai Accent is just so much better because it comes with a diesel engine, it doesn't rattle, and it has just more space right here. Anyways, a little bit hump here. These seat covers have been added by the owner. That thing has been added as well, the steering cover, and that ambient light which you can see here, you can see some ambient lighting, that has been added as well. Dual tone dashboard which is quite nice. Anyways, this particular car is available in petrol and CNG, guys. There's no diesel anymore, which is a big bummer because you can't carry anything, and I'm quite miffed that there are no proper taxi guidelines in India. So Maruti continues to dominate with their average cars here. There you can see the aftermarket sort of covers, and obviously this too aftermarket. Door pockets are decent enough for 1 liter, one bottle here. Front windows have the power function, one touch down, one touch only down, not up. Okay, and that's about it. There's not much to talk about. There's some storage space here, and this is to switch between CNG and petrol. You can actually turn on the car on CNG as well. You have to keep this button pressed for around roughly 10-15 seconds, and then it starts on CNG. This is the headlight leveler. Now there is no audio system, none of that. Massive glove box, a lot of stuff, some storage space there as well. Hard plastics are in plenty, but it's not bad. Phone holder for the OTP, of course. And there's no mirror here, there is no mirror here. There's a mirror here which does not get any dimming function. The kind of cost cutting Maruti does is unbelievable. There's no light here. There's a light in the center though. And AC actually works decently well. 12 volt charging socket dummy here, some storage space there. There's a cup holder right there, and everything is finished in beige, which is not good for taxis because it will get really dirty. Steering wheel is adjustable, thank God for that. Only for height, that is. And there you can see the instrument cluster, which is quite basic. Fuel meter, both of them actually, one is for petrol, one is for CNG. Big speedometer, but where is the tachometer? There isn't one. And here there's a multi-information display which shows you the range, shows you the odometer, shows you twin trip meters, the time, average fuel efficiency, what's the range like, and all that. This is the control for the wipers. Let's use the wipers right away. There's good amount of spray on offer here, and these are the controls for the light. Lights are on right now. The horn has also been changed. Yeah, it is actually better than the stock unit. Something dummy here. So they've just gone ahead and sealed almost whatever is possible and removed all the possible features in the world from this car. Now, this is the remote for the ambient lighting. So I'm just going to turn this one on. I'm not too sure if you guys can see it. Okay, here we go. Actually, now you can see it. Yeah, so you can do a proper disco inside because there are multiple functions for the light as well. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Different kind of ambient lighting. Actually, now you have to point this remote to this sensor, then only it works. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning on the car. Okay, there it turns on. Yes, OTP boss, OTP bol. I guess my passenger doesn't have the OTP, but never mind, me being a good cabbie will still take him anyways. So the car is actually turning on petrol and then it switches to CNG. That's what's happening. It's showing me right there. But I can directly turn on CNG as well and into first gear, and off we go. So for starters, okay, there is a bit of a hiccup initially, and the steering, look at this. Okay, it's shifted to CNG, but look at this, the steering does not center. How can Maruti Suzuki make such cars? It just blows my mind that people end up buying such cars knowing very well the kind of flaws it has in terms of basic stuff like a steering wheel, which it just stays like that. It does not center. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous actually. Anyways, performance is very lackluster. You know why? Because this 1.2 liter petrol engine, it has VVT, okay, which is variable valve timing, and it is from the K series family, I think the K12B. But this one in CNG, guys, produces lesser power. That is 71 horsepower, yeah, at 6000 RPM, and torque output is also reduced to 95 Newton meters at around 4000 RPM. So it comes slightly lower RPM when compared to 130 Newton meters at 4200 RPM for the petrol. And the petrol also has more power. So this is 71 horsepower, petrol is like 83 horsepower, and that's a huge difference because 12 horsepower does make quite a bit of a difference. So when you switch to petrol now, the performance definitely improves as well. Now this is a 5-speed manual gearbox. When I pull, the motor becomes quite vocal, so it is tractable, it is drivable. But I've been told that when you go uphill now, this car struggles a lot, so you have to turn off the air conditioning, which is a bit of a bummer. So let me quickly go through the history of this Tour thingy. So Maruti actually launched the Dzire in around 2008, the first generation model, which was the ugliest looking car in the world. And then in 2012 they decided to bring the second generation model, which is this one. So what they did was they made the first generation model as the Tour for taxi operators, which is a variant below the Alexa as well, with no features whatsoever. And then in 2017 they decided to bring the second generation version of the Tour, because around that time they got the third generation version of the Dzire. So this is actually based on the last generation version of the Dzire, and they've also dropped the Swift name from it, so now it's just Dzire Tour. Performance is okay, like obviously cabbies don't need that kind of performance, and plus it's limited to 80 kilometers per hour, so honestly you don't have any grunt from the motor to do anything either way. And plus that button on the side, that GPS button, sends a alert to the taxi company to which this car belongs, as well as to the cops in case of someone doing some mishap, like the driver doing some mischief. So that thing also happens. So that's a safety feature which has been mandated. You have to manually adjust the mirrors, and that mirror is too far to adjust, but then I'll use my experience and judgment and basically tukka to just figure out what's happening on the left. Jokes aside, Gearbox is actually slick shifting, the clutch is also on the lighter side, but this motor is kind of lackluster. In petrol, obviously it performs much better. Which brings me to why would anyone buy a CNG? And honestly, I'll tell you, CNG makes no freaking sense. Firstly, the lines at CNG pumps are huge and long. Now obviously cab operators do it every day, so they know the right time to go. They still waste 10-15 minutes. If you have to fill diesel, that will take 5 minutes tops. Now the thing is, Maruti was incompetent enough to make a BS6 compliant diesel engine, and that's the reason they decided, oh, let's bet on CNG. Wasn't that easier? Because you tell me something, it doesn't make any sense. They were using Fiat's multi-jet diesel engine till 2020, but in 2019 they launched their own 1.5 litre diesel engine for what? For 1 year, right? No, it doesn't make sense. They were just not able to make it comply with BS6 emission norms, so they put their hands up and like, oh, let's go CNG, let's save the world by being eco-friendly. A load of bull. But that's not the point. The point is that CNG in a cab makes no sense. Firstly, it limits the range for the cab operator because he can't go too long. He has to fill in CNG, and CNG pumps are not as frequent as diesel pumps. Secondly, it eats into the whole boot of the vehicle. So right now, I can't carry a person to the airport because where will I keep his bag? Here on my head. So they end up putting a carrier on the top, because of which there are other issues. Firstly, the stability, that goes for a toss, and then you have to tie it. It's a lot of waste of time as well. Now the thing is, this car goes approximately 190 kilometers on one full tank of CNG. So the CNG tank has 55 liters of equivalent water capacity, or 7.5 to 8.5 kgs of CNG, and this car will do 190 kilometers with the AC on. With the AC off, it will stretch to 220 kilometers, and every day this car is driven around 250 kilometers. However, today the owner has specifically taken the car out just to give it to me, so that's really sweet of him, and I really appreciate this gesture. Okay, lot of these cabs on the road. I don't know why cab drivers are given inferior cars here. Oh my goodness, airbag here, airbag there, but no airbag for the rear passengers, and I have stalled the car. Yeah, that's that. Okay, by the way, I have to go right, so anyways, it doesn't matter if I stalled it or not. So basically, we've got airbag both for the front passengers, which is cool, and then there's ABS as well, and then obviously all this is mandatory, plus the rear parking sensors also mandatory. Onto the throttle. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin. The car is supremely under tired for better fuel efficiency. Claim number is 26.55 kilometers per kg, which is impressive. So a full tank of CNG will cost around 750 rupees, because almost 8.5 kgs of CNG can go depending on your pressure. But right now I've hit the red line in third gear itself, so that's a bit of a bummer. Let's do one thing, let's actually switch to petrol. So now we are in petrol. Petrol is slightly better in performance. You can feel it immediately, that it feels more peppy. The weight of this car is 945 kgs if you buy the petrol only model. If you buy the petrol plus CNG, weight goes up by 100 kgs because of the weight of that CNG tank and associated bits. So 1045 kgs is the weight of this car, which is a bit on the heavier side, of course. But it's a good thing if it's heavy, but that weight is actually not going into the body, so it's not really a good thing. It's just having weight because of the boot, wherein you can keep your luggage, but you can't because this is a CNG, which doesn't make sense. They had a diesel also in the Tour, which was obviously the 1.3 litre diesel unit producing 75 horsepower and 190 Newton meters of torque. Good torque rush, beautiful efficiency, and a fantastic engine, which Maruti obviously got for free from Fiat. Oh, they were paying royalties, but still they didn't have to put in any effort for that. But that engine was noisy. This engine is very smooth, very refined, but unfortunately it is just robbing away the practicality of a cab. A cab definitely needs to have a big boot. This car simply does not have it, and that's a real big bummer. Plus the ride is also not nice, okay? The ride is not comfortable at all. Rear seat space is very poor, and the steering you saw now, it's very weird steering. There's a lot of body roll as well. So neither is it driver friendly, neither is it passenger friendly. So what friendly is it? I'll tell you, it is accountant friendly, because it adds a lot of money to Maruti's bank balance, because they make a lot of profit on such cars, as they have not done any R&D. They didn't have to. Oh my god, brakes are fine, yeah, they're good, but the tires are like so small now that yeah, you have to be careful. A tachometer would be such a nice addition. So the thing is, okay, initially it doesn't really pull that strongly. Horn is nice actually. It's very important for a taxi to have a good horn. The thing is that the latest generation Dzire, rather the third generation Dzire, is at the end of its life cycle. It has been on sale for 5.5 years now, and there are two variants of this car. So one is obviously a petrol Tour, and there's a petrol plus CNG Tour, and everyone will obviously get the CNG because running costs matter a lot to the cab operators. It has a 42-liter fuel tank in case you want to run it on petrol, but if you're going to buy a CNG model, it's better you run it at CNG, or I mean run it on CNG only. Definitely when you need the speed, I mean when you feel the need for speed, that is the time you switch to petrol model, or rather petrol mode, for added performance. The price of this car on road is 7,75,000 plus 15,000 more you have to pay for a tracker, which is very important because you are not going to be driving it as an owner. You're probably going to give it to someone, and a tracker is always beneficial because the car is like being driven 250 kilometers a day, and that's the way it's able to earn money and recover the cost of EMI, of course. Now we are going to come to a halt here, and it's time to launch. Oh, yeah, tires are so small, it's ridiculous. Revving the motor. Oh, this is the first time you've actually seen a cab do a wheel spin. First gear, 45 kilometers per hour, and this is the problem. In second gear, it is doing 80 kilometers per hour. Yeah, that's right. In second gear, it does its top speed. In third gear, it does 80. In fourth gear, it does 80. In fifth gear, it does 80. So what's the point of having a 5-speed gearbox? Just give us a 2-speed gearbox. Wouldn't that be more than adequate? And cornering, well, yeah, there is a lot of roll. Problem is now that it is almost illegal to put such small tires on a car, but I don't know how Maruti Suzuki manages it, and that's the sad reality. This car just gets the job done. It is not good in any regard. Yeah, obviously it's so old also. It's something which was launched in 2012. It's still being sold in 2022 so that Maruti can make good amount of money, and because there are few options in the market, Maruti Suzuki continues to make good amount of money. And I did 50 kilometers per hour in first gear, which is absolutely insane. I feel I should launch it yet again because that's how it is. Imagine after 15 years we'll have a cab which has the motor from that car, a strong hybrid, because obviously Maruti cannot make a diesel engine. That ship has sailed now for Maruti Suzuki. So here we're going to come to a halt and into first gear, revving the motor. Yeah, you will never ever see a cab do a wheel spin, but here you have. And if you like it, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. I don't understand that why don't cab operators actually get an audio system? They deserve to be entertained considering they're so long on the road. Like, they're driving for longer duration, longer distances. At least be a little human, Maruti, and give more features in the Tour. Bye bye.